Hello, divine feminine. I sit here, I swear there could be complete chaos going on all around me, or complete silence. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter whether we're fighting or getting along, separated or right next to each other. My mind travels back to you and the playfulness, the possibility. And lately, at least to me, it's kind of the funniest thought keeps floating in. It's this thought about what it might be like to date you. I know we never really officially did anything like that. At least I wasn't mature enough to recognize the value in the art of dating. Not in the way that you always seem to. The fun in the effort of romance, seduction, I don't know, of love. In my mind, my imagination, I've been thinking about what if I was a stranger? What if I didn't know you enough to get my engine going like you do every time I think about you? What if you didn't know me? I imagine myself to be like one of what I don't know. I feel like the hundreds, the thousands of masculines that shoot their shots at you and I hope get turned down, but I know that, well, I know you, and I know that while your heart is obviously open to me, that you are not closed off to other potentials. You just, what did you say? Ladies have rules and standards and things. It's such a paradox to me to know that I have known you through your growth. I mean, you've always been higher caliber than any feminine I've ever known. Though you certainly did not hold yourself to it before in the ways that I've seen you do for all these years since our separation. And I imagine it now. I've seen you a few times. I've been out, mostly just driving around. Then there's a few times that we've been at gatherings together, family things and such. And I've seen other masculines try. And I feel like observing that is such a different perspective for me because, on my own, especially for such a long time, I just imagined you out having a great time with every masculine wanting you and doing things and you accepting, and it made me so jealous and so upset. But you know, really, whether you're just being you or you're doing it on purpose, it drives me more mad to know that you don't give it up to just anyone. It really makes me question my own self-worth, which, to be honest, doesn't feel like it's all that valuable. Why you would be so open to me. Heck, even when you are spitting mad at me, fit to be tied, I know you're open to me if I was to approach correctly. Though I've watched you, I've seen you around other masculines, even a few feminines that have tried. And you hold yourself with such grace, it's like you don't ever really shut anyone down in the bitchy way that a lot of feminines do. But you definitely make it clear when you're uninterested, when you're not available to their vibration, for lack of a better way to put it. And I've watched them, and to me it's fascinating to think about it. To know that I know what you want. I know what you would want to hear. I know what you would expect to see. I mean, even though I didn't hold myself to the level of being mature and to being the masculine, the high caliber, divine masculine that you wanted me to be, I know what you look for and what you want to see. I know what makes your heart go pitter patter and gets your engine going. I know how to pass your tests. And I see these other masculines and they preen and puff up their chests and they try to get you laughing and they do their things. And then it's like inside my head I've got the, oh, what do you call it, the sports announcers, and it's like, oh, he's going in for the pass, he's going to try a joke, and oh nope, that one failed miserably and she's walked away, like I know where they've gone wrong. Like a food critic, I could sit there and make pointers to them over and over and say, this is where you went wrong, this is what you need to say, this is what you need to do, that's where you went wrong. And I could tell, I feel like I could tell within the first 30 seconds whether a guy will have any shot with you or not. And then if he's got a shot in that 30 seconds, whether he'll have a shot after 5 minutes, whether he'll have a shot after an hour or a day. And there's something about you, feminine, that makes me sit back and think about, I mean, I certainly had much more time. And I feel in some ways that I wasted it, in other ways that I didn't. I feel like I had enough time to learn through trial and error and many mistakes. And even though, yes, you turned me away in separation, and then I got stubborn and got myself stuck and pushed you away, and just so many things, I still come back to thinking about what it would be like to begin again, anew, as if reincarnated and starting over to where, yet again, just like when we met the first time, our souls recognized each other, even though our 3D bodies had never known each other in this lifetime yet. And I imagine what it might be like, what I might do. Would I be like those masculines that in the first 30 seconds fail and then decide to give up? What about those that say something crass in the first 5 minutes and don't even get a chance to take your tests? What about those who do? What about those who make it past the first hour, the first day, the first week, the first month, the first 3 months? I think if I had the chance to do it all over again and I met you and I felt that feeling with you that I felt when we first met, what if I wasn't so wrapped up in the past? If I wasn't so worried about how I'd been hurt before, the potential of this real feeling of love in me, meaning that you would hurt me again the way that others did? What if I pushed that aside and I let myself ride my heartstrings? What would I do? How would I approach you? I realized, it's a bit of a dance. Not necessarily a push and a pull, more like a sway and a waltz. Sometimes a tango or a foxtrot. dance, you know? And I think about all the creative things I would do with you, the Casanova moves. I wouldn't try to fool you. I wouldn't try to make you believe I was any different than who I am. And yet, I would still feel called to try to be better than I have been because I know that so many masculines, they try to make a pass at you and immediately realize that you are far out of their league, and then they don't try. But I would. I would level myself up. I would get better grooming. I would think about what kind of father to be. I would think about what kind of protector to be. I would think about what kinds of creative dates I could take you on. Like dinners, yes, of course, though. What about going to the zoo or an aquarium? What about a picnic in an extremely tall building? What about a candlelit dinner I set up at the end of an hour-long hike that you'd never imagine I'd already hiked and gone and set up before we went on it? I could think of 100 road trips we could go on near and far. I could think of 1,000 little gifts that wouldn't, some would be spending just because I'd want to, but they'd all just be about meaning, about the heart, about fun, about smiles and warmth. I can imagine just the opportunity from from the first 30 seconds to get to know something about you. What I could learn from each failure, each time I don't hit the mark. Because I know that's something you look for. It's not about succeeding right out of the gate. It's about what do they learn? Do they keep trying? And it's not about validation or somebody pursuing you. It's about the fun, the playfulness, the gratitude, the magic, the dance, the effort. Funny, the effort. I know that's a word that I used to use a lot. I used it so much that now it's it's the thing that you measure almost everything on in ways that I never really did because I was just using it as an excuse.